Alright. So right now we are on a recorded video. All right, so you'll go to file and then you are gonna hit new and then I'm gonna start from blank file. And then I don't want to save this, no? And then I'm gonna have a white page like this, all right? So let's say that you went to a website that has GIS data of the city of interest that you want to work with, whatever project it is. By the way, I'm not sure you guys work with landslides. You can download landslide map. You can download a flood hazard map. You can download a wind hazard map. Whatever the hazard maps, whatever the buildings that you want to see how the hazard that you are looking at is going to impact them, you can download them and put them here. How can I do that? Let's say you downloaded, I downloaded some stuff before I come here. All right. So let me do this. Um, all right. So I downloaded a bunch of shape files. I'm gonna show you exactly. Just want to make it a little bit bigger. Anyway, so for example, I'm gonna demonstrate a county. It's called Galveston County. Galveston County is a county in the southern Texas. I picked this county because they got impacted by Hurricane Ike in 2008, which was like very severe hurricane. It caused a lot of damage to the county, especially that the county has a part that's an island in the ocean, and there's a bridge that connect the island with the state. So there's the Galveston County mainland and Galveston Island, and they are connected together. If we want to see this, I'm not sure if I have Google Earth. I don't have Google Earth, but we can go here and then Google Maps. And here I'm gonna hit Galveston, Texas. Look at the Galveston, Texas. Let's say Galveston County. So Galveston County, can you guys see right now? It has a mainland and there's a bridge here, connect the mainland to the island, right? So the problem is at some point a hurricane happened in the Gulf of Mexico and hit the island really bad in 2008. They are still recovering till now from this hurricane. So I want to study how this hurricane is gonna, because the thing is, it's very easy to say, oh, there was a hurricane and impacted these building and they suffer really bad. That's a quantitative thing. We need, qualitative. We need quantitative. We need to know how much the impact is. So if you want a quantitative, you need to give me a hazard and I need to know information about the building. And using some engineering models, we are going to overlay them together and know how much impact that this county had. All right. So let's say I was searched over the internet. I was able to get information about the county. Let me show you what are these information. So I'm here in ArcGIS. I want to add data here. If I want to add data here, there's multiple ways that you can add them. You can actually drag and drop, like what I can do. I can, for example, come here. And by the way, every shape file, I told you that there's something is called shape files. Hmm. All right. So every shape file like this, there's a lot of files comes with. Do you remember when you work on SAP 2000 and you save your file and there's hundreds of files inside, even that you saved one? This is because there is a file for the geometry, there is a file for the coordinates, there is a file for the sections, there is a file for the materials. All these, once you start saving your model, because every input that you are keep inputting, put the inputs in, it gets saved in different files. Materials in a file, geometry in a file, coordinates in a file. Same thing here, but it has different extensions. Here is the database. Here, actually, the .shb is the one that you need. This is the shape file that we talked about. But why do I need all these files? Like, for example, this file .brg, that's for projection. Because since we're dealing with maps, I'm not sure if you guys studied in surveying, there's several projections that you can project your maps on. There's cylindrical projections. Have you guys studied this in surveying and undergrad? Like they say, oh, the Earth, sometimes you would make the Earth as a sphere and you project as a sphere. Sometimes you pretend that the Earth is a cylinder. And this cylinder, you open the cylinder so that you can make the Earth as a flat map. There's a cone. So there's different projections that you can deal with when we do mapping. So based on your projection, you are going to have a projection file that can represent, there's something called World Geodetic WGS. There is many different projections that you can deal with. The only thing that you need to be careful with is that all your data should have the same projection. If you have a data, like let's say the hazard map has a projection and the buildings has different projections. Once you put them together, they are not gonna fit. You are gonna find them shifted because basically it's like your maps is projected differently, so you cannot overlay them together. Anyway, you can drag and drop this file. Look what I'm gonna do. I believe not this one, the one that has like the CAD thing, AutoCAD compile. So I can grab this and come here in my file and drop it here. Oh, it didn't work. So it's the other one, the one that has .shp. Let's try this one. Oh. Okay, let me do something else. Let me add data. So I can come here and add data. And when you add data, you have to, there's something here say connect to a folder. So you need to add a connection to the folder where this data is. I have my data is in the downloads. This is documents. I have the data is in my downloads. So I click on downloads and I can connect to this folder, or I can connect to the subfolder that has the data right away. Like let's say it is this folder. Not sure which one. Oh, I'm gonna connect to this folder. I'm gonna say okay. So basically it's gonna open everything in that folder. So let me see the data. Like once I connected to this folder, he eliminated all the sub files and only showed the files that you can add here. So I want to show right now the Galveston County boundary. So I can click on this and then I can say add. So basically it's gonna load the Galveston boundary, something like this. Let's say, and by the way, you can make your folders in a tab on the side, something, I'm not sure you guys cannot see. There's 3 tabs here. If I click on them, like this one, has all the folders, like you can visualize them here. Like, the thing is, I'm gonna refresh this. Let's refresh, and then I'm gonna be able. Yeah, this one. This is the folder. So once I click, you are gonna find all the folders that you have here. I have, for example, that's another shape file for the county. The other one wasn't like the other shape file. Once you put the shape files, you drop them here, you're gonna find that you have somewhere here all your shape files. Like you have here the final, you have the Galveston County boundary, and everyone has different color. So you have this in green, you have this in purple. Everything that you add to the map is gonna show here, every layer. The thing is, the one that is in green, it shows the boundaries, but the boundaries are not that like precise. It's just giving you, they want to have all of them in one shape. So they combine them and I give you this one. So I believe the green one is not good. So what I should do, you can right click on it and delete it. Like I'm gonna right click and remove this shapefile. I'm interested in this one because it's more precise. It shows the mainland, it shows the bridge, it shows the island, it shows on the other island. So I'm gonna keep this one. The thing is, you want to see how this fit on the actual map. So you can add a base map that can show you how's the county look like or how Texas look like. So you can come here and go to at data, and you are going to find something here is called base maps. So you click on base maps, and you are going to find there's multiple base maps that you can add. I'm going to add imagery base map. So basically, it's going to show you a map like the one in Google Earth. So it shows you how this county fit or how this polygon of the Galveston County fit on the actual map. And then I'm going to close, and this is actually hardware acceleration. I don't know what is that, but let's say yes. Okay. So this is the location of Galveston. So right now I know where is the boundaries of my county. Let's load more data. You can load data, as I said, drag and drop, or you can add data from here, or there's a tab on the right here that you can add data from. So I'm gonna add the buildings data. I downloaded a shapefile. It's called building polygons, and then I'm gonna drag and drop. So when I did this, do you guys see there's something happening here on the island? This is actually where I'm interested in, the buildings on the island. So let me remove the counties, or actually let's zoom in. So it's gonna be a little bit slow because it's a lot of data and depends on your internet. All right. So this is my buildings. So that we can see the polygons, I'm gonna uncheck this box so that I can remove the layer that is down the other layer. And here I can see where my buildings are at. Can you guys see? That is the footprint of each building. You have a plot here, you have a building, building, building. Do you guys know what is this? Usually this is, all right, here's the thing. In the US, there is what we call census data. Census data has different geographical levels of data. So how is the geographic system in the US look like? The geographic system is started by the United States, the 50 states, and within each states, they are divided into counties. Have you guys heard about county, like Miami-Dade County, Broward County? Broward County is the the second upper level after the state. So the state has a governor, and each state has a bunch of counties, maybe 40, maybe 50, depends on the size of the states. And each county has a leader. So you have a county, and each county has something called census tracts. Census tracts is like a subdivisions within the county. And within each county, there is something called census block. Like, for example, this is a census block. And this is a census block. That's why when you live in a house, it's like, oh, you are in my block. My block, that means you are here. This is our census block. So that's a block, that's a block, that's a block. So every part is called census block. So what is the next subdivision? The next subdivision after census block is called parcel. Parcel, the parcel is like all the land that your building is in, not the building itself, all the land, like from here to here, here, this is your parcel, that's your land. And after the parcel is your building. So did you guys see state, county, census tract, census block, parcel, building? So this is how it worked. And actually there is something after the building. It's called housing unit. Sometimes you have a multi-family building has 100 units. So each unit is called a housing unit. All right. So this is actually how the community is comprised from. And all the social science is based on that. You have a state, you have a county, you have a census tract, census block, parcel, building, housing unit, and household. All right. And each household is like a member by itself. There's somebody live in this building. All right. So what we see right now, that's a building or a parcel. That's a building. All right. The parcel in cover all this building, cover this and cover this. This is usually like a shed inside the building. Like in Texas, they like to have a shed in the backyard, like a room where they, I don't know, a storage or they raise animal or something. So you have like a shed or a separated structure outside the building. Okay. So these are buildings. All right, so this is the shape file of the building. You see how the buildings look like? So that is how we represent the data. Okay, so once I drop the shape file, does the building footprint only provide me with how the building? Yes, some data was gonna provide you with only the footprint, but inside these footprints, there's a lot of data, and depends on the data source that you grab this data from, you are going to find how rich this data is. Like sometimes they will tell you, oh, just the building area, or they are going to tell you, oh, this building is residential. Oh, this building is residential. It has one story and on a crawl space foundation, and the foundation height is this, and the vertical floor elevation is this, and the ground elevation is this. So if you want information, if you want to know how much information is stored in this building, you can come on each building and you can there's a blue icon here, the blue one. Can you see it? It's I, like here. If you click on it and you click on any building, it's gonna tell you how much data that this building has. This is barely no data. It only tell you this is polygon and the parcel ID is this, and this is how much area, and this is the length of the building. That's not much information. So basically, this data is useless for me. It just tell me where the building is and how they look like. Maybe you are going to download same data from a different source. You're going to find 100 of these. All right. So next time I'm going to show you how, when we download this data from different source, how these is going to be much more information. Okay. All right. So that's it for now. Is this interesting topic for you guys? Okay. Yeah. You can use QGIS, but QGIS is an open source, is designed for developers. You can actually program on it. You can develop your own tool. You can do Python on it. But this one, the interface is much better, is much easier, and it's paid. So that's why they have a little bit advantage on other tools. If you guys face any problems downloading ArcGIS, do you guys know my students, Ahmed?